Hello everybody, my name is Alan from Sauber-Lab and today will be another video about NAS. This video specifically, we're gonna focus in what's your ideal hardware for your NAS, what you need to consider, what CPU, RAM, SSD, hard drive and everything else to make sure that your NAS work and will be better for you. Also, which situation that you should go, or ideal you can save money use used parts or you go for new ones. I know that I already explained a little bit more about it, but first of all I will show in the new format, and the second time or second thing, I still have people that ask, Alan, I have this computer, you think that I can make my NAS in this computer, or I have this laptop, I have this system, you think that's worth for me? The answer is yes, but you need to have some considerations before you start to invest or before you start to set up it, because you can get frustrated and that is not the problem for the system, it's the choice that you did. So if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're going to show in this video, but first of all don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and let's understand a little bit more about it. As I told in this video, we're gonna help you to choose your ideal hardware for a NAS. So if you guys come here on my screen, it's choosing your ideal hardware, and we're gonna focus in CPU, RAM memory, hard drive, SSD, power supply, case, silence, cooling, and we're gonna compare or tell a little bit more about used parts or new parts and which one that is better. So let's come a little bit for my side here. And here we're gonna tell a little bit more about CPU and RAM memory. How much you need? Really, how much you need for your NAS? Depend of your application. If you wanted to have basic tasks, let's say your NAS it's only a NAS, you're gonna have backups, you're gonna have some media stream directly transmission, you're gonna have some apps there, you don't need so much powerful CPU. Of course, you don't need to go so low, but you need to make a balance. You need to lose some CPU that you have a nice amount of power, but at the same time not so much power consumption, because this system should be 24/7 on, and if you wanted to go over the board and get a really powerful CPU only to use as an NAS, will be lose of money and lose of power. But if you need VMs, if you wanted to do much more video transcriptions, VMs, other plugs, you want to host your website and other things, then you're gonna need to look for a more powerful CPU with more cores and more power. What will have more power consumption but will deliver more resource for you for your applications. And what is the best one? Depend of your application, depend of your use. But one thing that you need to have in mind is RAM memory. RAM memory is more important sometimes than your CPU. Of course, don't go for really low old CPU, but go for as many or as maximum RAM memory that you can as possible, because normally minimum you should have at least 8 GB if you want to run through NAS or either OpenMediaVault. You need to have a nice amount of RAM memory, because each container will use some amount of RAM memory, your system will use RAM memory, and everything will use, each task will use RAM memory, and this reason that it's ideal to have more and more. What's the limit? They don't have limit. Some of the professional servers you're gonna have 128 to 54 GB of RAM memory, but you should have at least 8 and you should aim for 16. So let's say that your computer or your server have 4 slots, try to put 4 times 8, what give more space for you, more flexibility, and you can have more tasks, more user using the system, and that will not bottleneck or not start to be slow in the same time. Other thing that you need to have in mind is the data of storage, and the storage will be the more important part of your system, because basically it's a network attached storage, and the storage will be the key for you. And you have two options. You can go for hard drives and you can go for SSDs. Hard drive, it's great for large storage, low cost 4 GB, and perfect for backups and big file size, but it's slow. And you can go for SSD, but SSD it's more expensive. You can have your cache, you can have fast, more reliability system, but it will cost more. Let's say if you go for hard drive that have 16 terabytes, SSD with 4 terabytes will cost almost the same, but you're gonna have a fast system. This reason that it's ideal you go for a hybrid system. You can have a big pool with all hard drives, and you can have a cache with SSDs, or you can have a big pool with hard drives and some part of your storage in SSDs that will be a fast answer, low latency and everything. My idea is balance. Make a balance, have your pool and have your cache. You can have a writing cache, what you need to have at least 2 SSDs, or only read cache, what they will copy the data that you read more often, and that you need to have only 1 SSD. But try to do this balance, because in my opinion will be the best way, instead of go full hard drive or full SSD. Next thing that you need to have in mind when you set up your NAS, it's your power supply. Power supply need to be efficient. Don't go for a cheap one that's not efficient enough, because this system will be 24/7, will be on, will be running, and you need to make sure that you don't spend more money only to convert the 230 or the 110 for your 12 volts. Because if you're converting, losing a lot of efficiency, it's not ideal, and that will cost more. Let's say that your system needs to use 100 watts. If have less than 8%, they will convert, and you need to choose more power instead of use less power. Also, most of hard drives, they give a long time warranty, and you look for a reliable, cost-effective, power-efficient one. Case, it's a little bit more simple to choose. Choose a case that fit your motherboard, and choose a case that fit the amount of hard drives that you need. Don't go for a really small one, because all the information or the hard drive will be really compact there. They're running 24/7, and that's they will start to warm up unnecessarily. You're gonna have the temperature throttling, what will slow down your system, or either restart your system to keep it safe. So have this one in mind, and airflow is the best way. And this reason that come your cooling system. You can have different setups of system. You can have fans in the top pulling air, and that's the fans in the front pushing air inside your system. Normally the hot air is lighter than cold air, so the trend to go up. So if you expel all the air that's in the top, they will cool down in a different system. Have different configurations, but in my opinion will be the best. Put all the air from the front of the computer in the computer, and that's push or throw all the hot air outside for a computer. What worked quite well for me, and I never have any problem. Also, if you have all the hard drives running really close for each other, make sure that you have a directly fan that throw air for the system. You don't let all the hard drives stop without any airflow, because they will be overheat really fast, and that your performance, life cycle of your hard drives and everything gonna be deteriorate. So have this one in mind. And now come the question, or more important question, what is important for me? I get everything new parts or used parts? Okay, it's a mix. Let's say used parts, you can go for a little bit old CPU. You can go for a little bit old RAM memory. You don't need to go for the fastest RAM memory that you can find. You don't need to go for the fast CPU. You can have a balance. You can find something look like eBay or other things that's used, but not so used, not so old. 2, 3 years, 4 years old, it's still okay. Don't go over these ones, because then the power efficiency will be lower, the compatibility will be difficult, the motherboard needed to be a little bit old and everything. So try to make a balance. Also, the RAM memory, you don't need to be the fastest one. You can get 4 pins of 8 GB with low speed, so low frequency, and that they will get exactly the same performance for a high frequency, because you're not a game. You don't want to have that latency. You want to have more capacity to store data or store tasks, instead of be fast for run, let's say transmissions or quick sync. You need to have more storage, not so much speeds. Hard drives will be really difficult to buy a new one unless you can check the health, you know that was not so used, because basically hard drive is a mechanical disk, and mechanical disk have a lifespan. They will rotate, and that's they will record, and they can record some amount of times. Of course, it's a lot of times, but they can still record a limited amount of time, and that's after they start to record it, and that's you record so many times over and over again, then you start to have bad blocks, and these bad blocks, it means that your hard drive start to fail, start to get old, and that soon they will fail, and once that fail, gone, your data's corrupt or your data is lost, and no one wants to do it. Power supply, yes, power supply, it's really reliable. Most of them, they give 10-15 years of warranty, and that they know that will work, and if they are efficient, you don't need to go for a new one. You can go anywhere to buy a used one that will give a good performance for you, and you can have a low price. Also, case, don't go for a new one. Case is the worst thing that you need to buy. It's a new one only for a system, unless you need to have that specific case. If you go for eBay or a used one, you can get, as long as it's good condition, it's not damaged, it's not nothing. And also the cooling system, you can go for a used one. You don't need to go for a new one, and normally they trend to have a really long lifespan, and in the case of the case, never gonna destroy, never get old, never get anything around this one. But if you think about new system or new parts, yes, you're gonna have a warranty. You can know that it's new, gonna work for a long time, but you need to pay the cost for it. So it's kind of balance, and this reason that I suggest you to balance what components that you buy used, what components that you buy new. Hard drive, don't think twice, go for a new one, don't question yourself. I think that I will save a little bit here, yes, but in the long run, you're gonna lose money. But not the same thing that happened with CPU. Normally CPU lasts for a long time, the same thing for RAM memory, the same thing for your power supply. So try to invest good hard drives, new ones, and the rest you can go for used ones, second hands, or a little bit old revision that will give the best money for your performance, or the best performance for your money. So in this way, we arrived at the end of this video. I hope that you guys like this video. If you like this video and think that it was interesting, please don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and see you next time. Bye.